And finally, new rule. It's time to admit President Trump has actually accomplished one good thing. He's ruined the phrase thoughts and prayers forever. Of course, the problem with thoughts and prayers has always been that thoughts are the opposite of prayers. One is from the Enlightenment and one is from The Exorcist. But it wasn't until Trump tweeted his thoughts and prayers after the Parkland shooting, and one of the survivors tweeted back, "I don't want your condolences, you fucking piece of shit. Prayers won't fix this," that prayer officially became an eye roll. Yes, America's finally getting it. Prayer doesn't work, because if it did, every drug test would come back clean and there'd be... and there'd be no need for the morning after pill. But it's more than just prayer. Thanks to Trump, piety itself has ceased to be a third rail in American politics. How could it anymore when the world's least godly man has been so fully embraced by our most religious people, the evangelicals? Oh, they love them some Donald Trump, a man who's been to church 4 times in his whole life, 3 of them to get married. The only time he touches a Bible is for depositions. And if he ever went to confession, they'd have to take a meal break. He's into golden showers, not the golden rule. Well, it's true. He does not tweet people the way he wants to be tweeted. So when Trump got his mulligan from the values voters, that's when we knew religion had jumped the shark, and it was finally safe to say, none for me, thanks. I had bullshit for lunch. Look at some of these recent examples. Billy Graham. My entire life, I've watched presidents from both parties suck up to this blowhard like he was the American Gandhi. But when he died last month, it got covered like Olympic curling. Local storyteller dead at 99. Omarosa last week openly mocked Mike Pence for believing Jesus tells him to say things. Mocked by Omarosa? It's like getting dunked on by Kevin Hart. Even Oprah was widely made fun of when she said, "God, if you think I'm supposed to run for president, you gotta tell me, and it has to be so clear that not even I can miss it." And a lot of America said, "Oh, please, not the I have to check with my imaginary friend excuse," which was bad enough when people like Scott Walker said, "I am certain this is God's plan for me," something God also told Rick Perry, Rick Santorum, Ben Carson, Michelle Bachmann, Herman Cain, Sarah Palin. God is a nice guy, but he doesn't follow politics. But folks, this is progress. I used to be a lonely pioneer here, calling religious thinking a neurological disorder, but now it's like anal. Everyone's doing it. And in that, there is a lesson for the Democrats. Things that used to be third rails don't have to be third rails forever. Republicans get that. For 50 years, their fundamental principles were law enforcement good, Russia bad. And then it was Freaky Friday. 20 years ago, the idea of arming teachers was universally derided. But now, while we point and laugh, they're doing it. Democrats, on the other hand, begin every gun conversation with, "I support the Second Amendment," because they fear this is one of those third rails that can never be touched. Even shooting victims, the minute they wake up from their coma, their first words are, "I still support the Second Amendment." Now, would it be a hard slog to change the public's mind on guns? Of course. But a hard slog never phases conservatives. Ronald Reagan used to be a joke. Now he's an airport. The Second Amendment is just words humans made up at a certain moment in history when they felt right. It's an amendment, not a commandment. And we could make up... And we could make up new words again. Instead of the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, we could change it to the right of the people to apply for the privilege of possessing non-military style weaponry as long as they're not batshit crazy shall not be infringed. Sorry, Trump, no guns for you.